This is the Pop Tournaments podcast. In Pop Tournaments, we take a category of pop culture and let you, the fans, vote on matchups in a single elimination tournament format to determine an ultimate champion. We are here to discuss those results and the upcoming matchups. Thanks to our great community and everybody who votes, let's start the show. Welcome to Turkey Season. Here is your Pop Tournaments podcast, starting the lineup from Hamlin University, standing 6 foot 15 inches in character, Jennifer Schmidt.
Hi, friends.
At 7 foot 9.5 inches from the Institute of Production and Recording, Ryan Barrett.
Woo!
The man in the middle, the QAnon Don from University of Minnesota, University of Wisconsin River Falls, Inver Hills Community College, Normandale Community College, the Apple Valley Rec Center at 5'11" when he's not slouching. It's me, Jake.
Hey!
Hey, the crowd goes wild.
How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah.
It's November.
It is.
2020. We are brought to you by, 3 to 5 seasons construction. We average 4 without the mess. They're good company. How's everybody doing? Jennifer, how was your weekend?
It was fantastic. So here in the Twin Cities, we had beautiful weather. So
yeah, we did.
Definitely, took advantage of that and spent lots of time sitting at patios with friends and, lots to celebrate. So lots of champagne was drinking that from 10:30 a.m. till 10:30 p.m. on Saturday.
Champagne.
Yep.
I hope you didn't. I hope you didn't lose a glove, because then the Continental might have found him.
Oh, got it. Yes, I wasn't sure. Yes, the Continental.
Come on.
Christopher Walken. Saturday Night Live.
I'm sorry.
I got there eventually.
That was a deep reach. I apologize. Ryan, how was your weekend?
It was great. I went to a dog birthday party on Saturday night.
Love it.
Which was really fun. It was, all outdoors, and I made rum old fashions for everyone that got very positive feedback. So that was nice. And then last night we started episode 2 of Shrill. Finally.
Oh, you season 2, and the guy. So you sound like him in the first season, the one that plays her love interest. But the guy's a schlub and not a great guy. But season 2, he's kind of pulled it together a little more. And the whole season, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is 2005 Ryan.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it's, oh my gosh, it's so much love that show.
It's really, really great. And I love seeing Patty Harrison. My Instagram reco from a month ago or whatever. She's great in this. And yeah, the whole cast is great. I just love all the characters in the show. They're it's a really fun group. But yeah, and that's so my favorite t-shirt company, or my favorite shirt company, Homage, they just did a little sneak preview Black Friday sale, a 1-day sale, and it was buy 5 shirts for $100, and I ended up getting an extra $15 off on that. So anyway, whatever, Black Friday brag. But I
Don't blame.
I ended up getting some really cool shirts. Most of them, I got a worm shirt, Dennis Rodman, with
wormhole.
a worm body. But I also got a Wayne Stock shirt, which I thought you Pop Tarts might like, from Wayne's World 2.
Yes.
The with the Wayne Stock logo.
BT Dubs, we're calling you guys Pop Tarts now.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are the things we talk about.
Yep.
I'm jealous. I should have gotten in on that t-shirt sale. Love a good t-shirt. Yeah, it was a fun weekend, I think, for most of us in the Pop Tournaments community. We're feeling a little looser, right?
Yeah.
Just a little
Yeah.
bit. You know, it's like it's like this is the way I'm going to say it without trying to offend anybody. You're on a road trip and you just passed a rest stop like maybe 10, 12 miles ago, and you're like, man, we really need to keep going, but I really need to pee. And we really need to turn around. So that's what we've done. We're just making a nice turn here. Nobody's saying this is the perfect route to take. But we're making a nice...
hit our destination.
Right.
Haven't hit a destination yet. Still have a long ways to go.
We're just making a nice U-turn, taking a nice rest stop, and figuring things out. But man...
And peeing.
Yes.
Finally
emptying
emptying our bladders after this long 4 years of holding it in.
So you don't have to stress out about that anymore.
Yeah. It's nice to feel loose. Yeah, it's been like everybody said, it's been a beautiful weekend here in Minnesota.
Gorgeous.
Unfortunately, Uncle Johnny's still in town. He's out raking leaves. He's out raking leaves, so don't worry. But
okay.
Y'all notice how windy it was the last few days. I mean,
it was.
Like, I hope everybody didn't have any downed trees or anything. But
how was your weekend, Jake?
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Okay, good.
I tasted the rainbow, and I found myself in good hands with a lot of friends. You thought I was going to say Allstate.
I did. And
you did.
And Skittles, too.
Yeah.
Nope. Had a bonfire, cleaned up the yard. Basic, stupid Minnesota stuff.
Yeah.
But, went off okay. And I cooked a nice turkey dinner.
Nice. Yum.
It's always good to eat well, especially in these pandemic times. And instead of eating a bunch of frozen pizza and air fryer chicken wings, nice turkey dinner. It is turkey season, so
it is.
We'll be enjoying some of those fantastic foods. But who cares about my weekend? We've got a awesome tournament going on right now. And we've covered half of it. It's our hilarious heroines, our funny ladies, the best of the best, if you will, because we are the experts on that.
Oh,
yeah,
totally.
We're the arbiters.
Yeah.
We're like exactly at the halfway point of the tournament, of the first round too today.
Of the first round, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a tight one.
This is perfect time.
It's a close one.
Today is a very close one. And so far, this has just been a super fun tournament. Like, there's been really great engagement from everybody, and seems like a lot of tough decisions being made. But that's a sign of a good tournament, especially when everything was decided by a magical bucket of popcorn.
Yeah, I know. And then we could just blame the bucket of popcorn on all of these.
I think we might have to do this for every tournament going forward.
Well, the bucket.
Hey,
the bucket.
Don't look at us.
Yeah, it wasn't us. It was the bucket. I agree. That bucket.
Maybe we'll have to have sacrifices to the bucket.
Maybe to the bucket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps. But
No, we
again,
can stream
in this
it.
tournament, no, you're not voting against anyone, which I like too. You're not voting against it. You're just voting for your favorite, like just an extra for your favorite. You can love everyone because I don't know why you wouldn't love all of these women. They're all fantastic, but you just get to vote for the one you like even more, not against anybody.
I'm not. We're not there yet, so I'm not going to call anybody out specifically. But there have been multiple people who have said repeatedly, well, not repeatedly, but for different matchups, in kinder words, I do not like this tournament. And I would like to say that we are celebrating everybody, like Jennifer already pointed out specifically, and this was a collective idea from all of us that we need to celebrate all these people. And so, go ahead.
And to clarify, I think what people are saying is, I don't like having to choose between these people.
Yes.
I know. I just like what I'm trying to create controversy. Just remember, though, do not say you don't like this tournament. Say you love this tournament because it's so hard to just.
It is very. There are some really hard matchups, and there are some days where it is a hard choice, and it's hard. I've
had to split votes on multiple days.
I've split a lot, yeah, than I usually do.
Yeah. You know what? Houses are being divided.
Yep.
That's what we look to do. Mm-hmm. But. So in our last episode, we went over the first half of our first round, which is just ending today as we record this, but we've got another 8 matches to talk about, and we'll jump right in. So where we left off, we've got Alana Glazer versus Kathy Griffin. Alana Glazer, one of the younger entrants in this tournament, but another one of our slashers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Writer, director, performer.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Against the amazing Kathy Griffin. What do you guys got?
Well, I've seen Kathy Griffin live, and she's hilarious. Ooh. And we think of her, I think of her for her stand-up, 'cause that's what I've seen. But, she's done, like, a decent amount of acting too, with like how I think her big breakout being on Suddenly Susan back with Brooke Shields.
Don't forget Ned and Stacy.
Yeah, that's right, with Deborah Messing. Lowell from Wings. Gosh, I had forgotten that one. Yep.
Suddenly Susan, super underrated show, I think.
Yeah.
Super.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really liked that one. And great books too. Kathy Griffin, I think, has at least one or more books too. And then her D-List show was great. My Life on the D-List. I'm not super into reality shows, unless they're in the Bachelor franchise now. That's pulled me in. but I did really enjoy Life on the D-List, and it just showed like how like quick-witted she is. That she's not just someone who can write, the tight 10. She, is really just funny and smart. And it sucks that we haven't seen her much lately, and that's, because she, got in some political controversy and was, I think, unfairly maligned, and, hopefully we get to see more of her.
So one thing that, I think of when I think of Kathy Griffin is like a storyteller. Her stand-up style is very much like, okay, let me tell you about this time that I met so-and-so or whatever.
I saw Celine Dion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And she has a new special out. I didn't even know this until like I was kind of doing some research and looking into it. But she has a new special out kind of about the whole fiasco with her and the Donald Trump picture, called A Hell of a Story. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to check that out because I would love to hear more about what that was like being like public enemy number one. Mm-hmm. I've always thought Kathy Griffin was super hilarious. Great sitcom actress on top of, being a really great stand-up. Alana Glazer definitely, she's half of the Broad City crew. I think she was the one who kind of, between the two, kind of stood out more, especially from the get-go from season
Yeah.
one. She was kind of like the
She's
funny
the funnier,
one
like the more
to
out there
Abby.
one.
Abby's
Yep.
kind of more like the straight one.
The straight
you know
man.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They were
Yeah.
definitely both in the run-in here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
You couldn't have one without the other for sure. But I think Alana was just kind of the, without wanting to put two on a list of 32, she was
Yep.
kind of the one that I immediately thought of. But that was one of those shows in the last 5 years that was like, I mean, for a generation of people, that was like appointment viewing, and it was that was like the water cooler show for a couple seasons, where everybody would I know that's kind of a dated term, but it's like everybody would get to work and be like, oh my god, did you guys watch Broad City last night? You know what I mean? Like that, there's not a lot of shows that are like that nowadays, where people actually watch it like right when it comes out so they can talk about it the next day. And Broad City at its peak for like a couple seasons was that important,
Yeah.
that much in the zeitgeist.
And dang, it brought such a new voice too, though. Like, oh man, you distracted such an important term. It brought such a new perspective to, that whole New York lifestyle. So that's the thing. So many shows where New York is a character, but this was a whole different situation with that show.
It was definitely a very refreshing, like, alternative to Sex in the City, 15 years.
Or Girls.
Earlier. And Girls, for sure. Yeah,
I feel like
prefer Broad City over Girls.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I feel like that's kind of a really interesting triumvirate of like Girls, Sex in the City, and Broad City. All being like shows that are very much about women in New York City, and all just completely different, about completely different types of people,
Exactly. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I'm a Broad City guy.
Yeah.
Me too. Yep. Although I love Girls. I'm
not a huge fan of Girls.
unabashedly.
I'm definitely a fan of Broad City. And I was very much a fan of Sex in the City back in the day. But
there we go.
I have not revisited it.
The lines have been drawn.
Yeah.
We shall make alliances in the future. But we must move on to what I think should be one of our most interesting matchups here. Sarah Silverman versus Issa Rae. This is going to be a tough one, because definitely, really two people at the, I don't know how to say this correctly, but just peaking in their genres, but at different times, in different ways. It's a toss up to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Issa Rae is definitely like having a moment.
Yeah.
She's like an it woman right now, and like,
Yep.
she is just an amazing creator, actress, writer, everything. And she's a force to be reckoned with. And Sarah Silverman is, she had a different path. She was kind of bouncing around for a long time, and never really became that like super famous.
Where
She was always just kind of like,
I mean, she is a
alternative.
Disney princess now.
That's true. Penelope.
So,
Vanellope.
it's
yeah.
all these things, and even her show, was it either her Hulu show, I Love You America, just fantastic show, so timely, so important, and still, like Ryan said, not getting the respect she deserves.
My favorite thing from Sarah Silverman, and then I'll shut up and let you talk, Jenny. I apologize. I just kind of jumped in. My favorite thing from Sarah Silverman
Jumped in.
is the Sarah Silverman Show.
Yeah.
Her show on Comedy Central. I think it only went for 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons, but that was like one of my favorite shows on TV when it was on. I just thought it was so refreshing and weird, and it had a lot of the same cast from Mr. Show, which I absolutely adore. And yeah, it was just so funny and weird, and
It broke a lot of comedians.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tig Notaro played
Yep.
cop in that show, and she
another
was
entry.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll shut
Sorry.
up now.
Yeah.
Go
No,
ahead.
it's just equally like it's tough for me. I love Sarah Silverman's like I think my favorite of her stand-up specials is Jesus is Magic.
Yep,
definitely.
Like almost peed my pants watching that one. But Issa Rae is just such an important voice, I think, right now. And like really coming up, and Insecure is so good and really good with that like balance of comedy and drama, which I love. And I think we're going to keep seeing more and more of Issa Rae, I think, with her writing another, slasher there. Her book is fantastic. I highly recommend it. So yeah, it's kind of like, do we, pick the person that's really established and has been a, leading voice in comedy, but has never like hit the spotlight? Or do we pick, like, vote for the new up and comer who 2 years from now is going to be an even bigger name? So that's tough. I will probably split my vote too. So it'll be fun to see what people think.
I wouldn't be surprised too. I can't remember what the name of the movie was that she was just in.
Oh yeah, the one that was kind of like date night, right?
No,
Yeah.
that was actually really funny.
Was it good? Okay.
But there was a drama that she was in, like The Photograph. I think that's what it was
Okay.
called. It was starring the guy from Sorry to Bother You. I'm totally
Lakeith
drawing a blank on
Stanfield?
his name. What's that?
Lakeith Stanfield?
Yes, Stanfield. Yes.
From Atlanta.
They played like opposite. They were like love interests in the movie, but it was like a romance drama,
Oh.
and it
to
got
check it out.
pretty decent reviews. And I wouldn't be surprised if like she ends up becoming like full on slasher, like into drama.
Yeah.
Becomes like a serious dramatic actress.
Yeah. That, I don't know, could be crazy.
Awkward.
Full on dramatic actress. No,
Yeah.
it's a tough matchup, and I honestly, I really enjoy both these people. So, go ahead and split your vote, and then
Yeah, I probably-
maybe if you don't like the results, Rudy Giuliani can come in and help you
Oh,
out.
yeah. So make sure you book 4 seasons total landscaping to do a press conference.
Oh boy, that was way too funny.
Oh, it's my favorite story. It's been giving me so much joy. It's one of those stories where you're just like working on something and then you just remember it and can't help but laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Also,
I don't remember if somebody else said this or if it was just Becky who said this or what, but that seems
Who?
totally like something that would have happened in Veep.
Rebecca, his wife Rebecca.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. That seemed like something that could have happened in Veep,
Yes.
right? Like they accidentally booked
100%.
they accidentally booked the Four Seasons
Oh my gosh.
landscaping company.
Yeah.
And they have to play it off like it was on purpose.
Uh-huh, they play it to it. Yeah, completely.
yeah, and it's an it almost felt like a Bob's Burgers situation because they're between a sex shop and a crematorium. I mean, it literally is like they're Bob's Burgers.
I know.
Oh boy.
It's the opening, but you know what? Everybody's had enough fun with that. We're not going to belabor that point.
No.
We've got a really interesting matchup coming up here, and I think this one's going to be really tough. I really hope these are probably two of our lesser known entries, but I really hope this is close because I feel like it's kind of a crazy, sassy situation against each other. We have Gilda Radner versus Amy Sedaris, or Sedaris, excuse me.
Sedaris.
I stumbled on my words there. Amy Sedaris, fantastic matchup here. We've seen Amy Sedaris in so much lately, really getting a rebirth after the, we've seen her in Strangers with Candy, but Gilda Radner, really, we never got to see the full force of her.
Yeah, we always wanted more. Yeah,
exactly. Jenny, I'll throw to you first. What do you think?
Yeah. So Gilda Radner, like, I remember my dad, like, teaching me about Gilda Radner. It was like, okay, we have to have a conversation about how amazing she is and how she was gone too soon. And this was, like, before the internet. So, because really, my dad had sat me down and gave me the Gilda Radner talk when I was, like, 8 years old.
Yep.
And it's not like you could just, like, he had to describe the sketches and her different characters, because it's not like you could just, like, Google them and watch them on your phone. Yeah. So he told me about Rosanna Dana and some of her other, like, his favorites of her characters and sketches. So yeah, she was,
I
just
completely agree.
Such a classic.
That so is such a great story. I love that so much.
And Amy Sedaris is great. I like read her brother's books, so I almost feel like that's the Sedaris that I know. But
interesting.
But Strangers with Candy is a little too weird for me. So
okay.
I was a humongous Strangers with Candy fan, and I would love to go back and revisit it. But that was actually, I didn't know this until recently, but the leads in Strangers with Candy, for the most part, were all in, like, a sketch group together, and they had a show on Comedy Central. Like, it was Stephen Colbert and Amy Sedaris, and then the guy who played, like, the art teacher. The three of them had a show called, like, Exit 58 or something like that on Comedy Central, like a sketch show.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
But I love Strangers with Candy. I really love her sense of humor. Like, she really kind of brings her own voice to everything she does. I think she's great in BoJack Horseman. And
thank you.
Yeah, I think Amy Sedaris is just a hilarious, really unique voice in comedy. But Gilda Radner is a giant. Like, I think she's one of the first, like, 4 people that we thought of when we started this list.
So.
I think she's up there with Carol Burnett and, Lucille Ball and whatever. Like, it's going to be tough, I think, to knock Gilda Radner out. I think she's kind of, I think just on reputation alone.
This will be really tough for me because I remember, at a very, very young age, my parents letting me stay up and watch
Strangers with Candy.
Yes. No. We would watch Saturday Night Live, but often, it was a very young show, so there would often be reruns from within the last, 2, 3, 4 or 5 years. And so I would see some of the old Gilda Radner and playing off of Bill Murray and him playing off of her. Just such a great comedic combination. But I absolutely love Amy Sedaris, and in researching this matchup, one of the things that I found out that I absolutely I think is just so perfect for her. So for our Midwestern fans, some of you might remember the Piggly Wiggly. Amy Sedaris actually used to work at a Piggly Wiggly and would make fake announcements over the loudspeaker.
Oh, I love it.
And eventually got fired from her job as a cashier. So it fits the narrative, and man, this is going to be a really tough one for me personally. Like I don't know how to really call this. So
yeah.
Yeah, but that's why we do it.
A couple other connections here with Amy Sedaris from our matchups that we're talking about today. She was also in a couple episodes of Broad City with Alana Glazer. She was also in a couple episodes of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which
sense.
was made by Tina Fey.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, we'll get to.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got a lot to say. We got a lot to say about Tina Fey.
Oh, yes.
We'll get to that. Before we get to that, we've got some more SNL news for you. This is going to be a tough one. Molly Shannon versus Kate McKinnon. I'm not going to give any lead in. Jennifer, what do you think?
Well, that would not, I should call in my 7-year-old. That would not be a hard one for him. He is like a Kate McKinnon diehard. And he's like, she's his all-time favorite actress. and I see why. Like, she's definitely someone who's made that, like, leap from SNL to film, like, seamlessly. Even though I think she's still on SNL officially this season.
She is.
But she's so funny. Like, he knows her, I think, from the Ghostbusters from a couple years ago, and I don't even know what else. Yep. Oh, and her movie is so good. The one with the spy who dumped me is so funny. It shouldn't be that funny. It doesn't look great, and she's like hilarious in it. So, and I mean, she is a comedian who is good with stand-up, is like a good actress, and can also like play a character, and then play like her impressions are really good too. Like, I think doing impressions is really hard because it's not just about like being just like that person. You have to be that person, but figure out the funny in them. And she is so good at doing that. And
save it for the second round.
She just did Rudy Giuliani on Weekend Update this last weekend, and that was like the highlight of Weekend Update. She just killed it. She is so funny. But I love Molly Shannon too, you know, definitely in that like late 90s, early 2000s era. She was just like you know, one of the queens of SNL. She kind of ushered in
that new, like, the
Molly Shannon is an absolute
female
gem.
Yep. Yes.
And another thing too that, you know, I just didn't want to leave unsaid is Molly Shannon's really become a great dramatic actress as well. You know, she's been in a lot of really great like indie movies and smaller movies you know, over the last 10 years or so. But yeah, she's just a great actress all around and a really funny person.
And like she elevates roles, in my opinion. Like she's done a lot of like smaller indie comedy movies, and like she really, you know, pulls the most out of those roles. That damn it, I don't want to say the wrong title, so I'm not gonna.
She brings a lot of like tenderness to all the roles that she plays. Like, she just has a real like genuine sensitivity about her that, I don't know, it reads really well on screen.
But I'll also say, like, her SNL characters were like, nobody else could have pulled those off.
Yes.
Like
she's definitely a fearless actress.
Big time.
Yep. And isn't afraid to be awkward and weird and really push it right up to that line. But she pushes that line so well because she does have the empathy for all of the characters that she's playing.
They actually, I think Kate McKinnon and her is actually kind of an interesting matchup in that regard, because I think that she does kind of have sort of the same gene in that regard. I think Kate McKinnon's a little bit more like, I don't want to say nuanced, but maybe like kind
Subtle
controlled.
sometimes,
Where
yeah.
Molly Shannon's a little bit more like chaotic.
Yeah.
But they both have that kind of like crazy, like give me the spotlight kind of energy.
Yeah.
Well, but here's what I'll say: could Kate McKinnon play Mary Catherine Gallagher?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, I feel like that's more of a character of someone else we'll talk about in a little while.
Right.
Yeah.
And much like Michael Che, I'm not going to light this, but I'm going to put a cigarette in my mouth. So. We got SNL influences all over here.
Yeah,
no,
we
this
do.
is this is going to be a crazy matchup. I really think it comes down to, the age of our voters, what point they really got into, because again,
SNL,
a classic SNL matchup. So what time they really got into it, because
Molly Shannon's our only like 90s SNL actress, right?
Sherry O'Terry
I mean, like
would be
Maya,
another one
I
that
think
would...
like some of them started in the 90s. Maya Rudolph, like Amy Poehler, Tina Fey started in the late 90s, but I think they really kind of peaked like more into the 2000s, and then Gilda was our 70s. And then, I mean, Julia Louis-Dreyfus was on it in the 80s, but it was pretty rough for women on SNL for a very long time.
Yep.
Molly Shannon was the top, like the beginning of that female renaissance.
There were some really good ones in between there, but they weren't like household names, like Jan Hooks and Nora Dunn and Victoria Jackson before she went off the deep end. But she was hilarious in like the Dana Carvey.
Funny. She was one of my favorites. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm sorry.
I'll just say, no, none of these ladies peaked. You guys just stopped paying attention.
But yeah, Sherry O'Terry, I was gonna say, is another person that was in that class. With
we talked
Molly
about her,
Shannon.
and Anna Gasteyer kind of started.
Oh yeah, that's right.
With them, and then into the next group, and she's another one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah, Molly Shannon, we kind of like, she was the big standout, I think, of that time.
All right, we can tell you what. We'll throw this down. We can discuss this offline more. But for those of you in the Pop Tournaments community, we have been wrestling with how to do a best of SNL cast members tournament.
Yep.
So my proposal is that we all come up with 12, or essentially we each get 12 draft positions, and the top 10 our top 10 picks each make it, and then the fans vote for 2 out of the last 6.
Maybe.
Right, so
I don't know. Yeah, you can tell we're very passionate about Saturday Night Live.
Welcome
we're a whole
to
bunch
the
of
Saturday Night
nerds
Live
who watched
podcast.
lots of SNL reruns when we were young.
Yes, we're getting off track. I apologize.
Yeah.
I gotta rein it back in. So let's jump over to the other side. Over on the other side, this is a classic matchup we have going on here. Joan Rivers versus Betty White.
Ooh.
I think, unfortunately, I think this is a runaway because of current pop culture. But let's give respect where it's due.
Mm-hmm. Yep. To the Queen of Mean.
I personally...
I think she's been called that. I don't think I made that up.
No. No, I don't think you did.
Yeah.
I am going to be putting my votes on Joan.
Okay.
I think that she was like the original, she was the first lady of stand-up, essentially, and she is just such a brilliant joke writer. If you've had the opportunity to see the documentary that she made before she passed, or that was made about her, with her, before she passed, it's really, really great. But there's a scene where she's like in her, study or whatever, her library, and she has like 5, like I don't know what you call it, index cards like files of index cards with all the jokes that she's written. And
Wow.
it's like by, alphabetized by subject. And it's just like thousands of jokes about everything you can think of. And, she's just brilliant. I mean, she basically was like in line to host The Tonight Show. And, because she was a woman, that just kind of
God, imagine.
didn't really get a fair shake at it. But she would sub in for she would sub in for Johnny Carson when he was sick, or when he couldn't host.
Or when he was making a weird sex tape that nobody ever got to see until a few years ago.
He was making P tapes. But
Sorry.
But yeah, I just think Joan Rivers is like, ultimate legend of legends as far as like not even like women in comedy, just like comedy period, stand up, the history of stand up comedy. I think it's like Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, Joan Rivers, insert.
And
name,
you're so right with that Tonight Show stuff. Like it's just a whole different world that we're living in. Like she should have had that job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she is so much funnier than Jay Leno. She was funnier than Jay Leno 10 years before Jay Leno even came out.
Yeah.
And
it's a bummer.
Betty White, one thing again, like I just continue to surprise myself, and I'm sure
No, we're shitting on Betty White.
many of our listeners. I had no idea that Betty White was in the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Tyler Moore Show, yeah. Yep.
But yeah, Betty White, funny enough, like the thing that I kind of think of her most from, or kind of, think of her sense of humor, is Match Game.
Yep.
When that started replaying on Game Show Network.
I
watched that
I love
all
Match
the
Game.
time, and I loved that show. And just seeing how fucking coked out Gene Rayburn would get all the time, and like during like the later period with him and like Richard Dawson, just like dueling, predators.
Yeah.
But yeah, Betty White was
70s
so
game
funny
show
on it.
celebrity drugs.
Yeah. No, Betty White was all over that whole circuit with like Password and the $225,000 pyramid or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, Betty White's great. And like you said, I'm sure because now she's kind of thought of as being like the Ruth Bader Ginsburg of comedy.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I'm guessing she's probably going to win, especially because Joan Rivers does, like, a lot of people are turned off by how mean she is, was.
Yeah, because Joan Rivers, was stand-up, and then, transitioned her career into doing a lot more commentary, and did the red carpets, and then the Fashion Police show on E! For a long time.
Well, yeah, we know she's gonna lose because the Kardashian family listens to this podcast, and they're gonna get
absolutely
all of their people to vote against her. So
they're influencers.
It sucks.
Tweeting.
Yeah,
it sucks. It's a bummer. Joan definitely deserves the respect that
but
of
let's
being
not,
in this tournament.
Yeah. But Betty White. And
yeah.
so known for playing, the sweet, wholesome characters, the sweet, wholesome, kind of dim characters on Mary Tyler Moore and Golden Girls, and then changed into someone who's really, as she's got older, for swearing and being a lot more, sharp-tongued, and now she's that grandma who swears, which is always hilarious.
Yeah.
But she kind of stole from the... who was the rapping granny from?
Yeah.
What was the Adam Sandler movie?
Wedding Singer?
The Wedding Singer, yeah. The rapping granny from Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
Good for you, Betty White. Timing. Timing is everything.
Yep. Yeah, Betty White, I think, has a good chance at winning this whole thing, too, just because she's hit, beloved... Yeah, status.
Well, I will say, if she wins, she's going to have to take on the winner of Hannah Gadsby and Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Ah, that's right.
That is a... Ryan, we'll throw to you this time.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay, well, I'll start by saying, I just watched Nanette for the first time. I know that I'm like years late to that party. It was such a phenomenon when it first came out, and like everybody was talking about it. It had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and like it was pretty much universally beloved. But I thought it was great. Absolutely. It was funny. It was moving. You can't say anything bad about it.
I could.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is like one of my favorite comedic actresses of all time.
Literally all time.
I think Veep is like in 50 years, Veep is going to be looked at as being like one of the best shows ever. I honestly think that like her, I love Seinfeld. I'm not like, I've rewatched some Seinfeld. I'm not like one of those people who's just like obsessed with Seinfeld now, but I really like it. And I think she was great in Seinfeld, but Veep is like one of my favorite shows, and she is just like brilliant in it. And this is an easy one for me, despite my admiration for Gatsby.
Yeah, I really admire Gatsby too. I agree, and I think Nanette is really like kind of changing the game with doing like stand up. That's not just like, here's the difference between men and women, and like where it's just like, we're gonna just have a fun time and laugh. Like Nanette's adding a lot more depth and using comedy to, talk about really serious issues and kind of laugh through the pain like that, which is amazing. And changing the game. But Julia Louis-Dreyfus, like, she was on SNL in like the bad years, and she was like the best part. Yeah, and then Seinfeld, and then like it was not a great show, but she carried like New Adventures of Old Christine for like a long time. Like it was on forever because I just want to sit and watch her whatever she's doing.
This is a fake cigarette.
Co-starring New Adventures of Old Christine, co-starring Wanda Sykes.
Yes. Yep.
Please vote for Wanda Sykes. Go in your DeLorean.
It's so close. I did. I voted for
I did
Wanda
have
Sykes.
to. I'm sorry. I split. I did split 2-1. Went 2 Wanda Sykes, 1 B Arthur.
Yeah. I know. I don't remember who I voted on Facebook. I know I voted Wanda Sykes on Instagram. I may have split. Like I said, I've been mainlining Golden Girls. It's been hard.
I just rewatched like last night. I was writing the copy for today, and I went back. I was watching a bunch of Wanda Sykes clips yesterday, and I was like, she's so great. I was loving it. And then last night I was like, well, I have to try to find a good B. Arthur clip. And I started watching Golden Girls reels, like her best of Dorothy. And I was fucking dying. Like, she is so funny, and that writing in that show is so great.
Yeah.
She is just hilarious. I was expecting to give Wanda Sykes all my votes, and then I saw that, and I ended up like backing off of that.
Yeah.
Mary.
Yeah, but they're not who we're talking about right now. We talked about them last week.
So anyway, yes. Personally, I'd like to say, while I respect everything both of you have said, I think the character of Elaine could not have been played perfectly by anybody else than Julia Louis-Dreyfus. That's the tipping point for me.
That's a great way to look at it too. Yeah.
Again, and I agree with you, Ryan, that Veep is just a magnificent performance of her talents, but when it comes down to it, like that's the thing that tips it over for me, is like nobody else could have done that better than she did. So
no argument.
We'll see how it goes, though. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see
and
how
then
it goes.
jumping up into our last quadrant, this is going to get tough. Really tough here.
Yeah.
With all four of these. Fair warning to everybody. We've got for the old schoolers and the new schoolers, we got Janine Garofalo versus Tiffany Haddish. And
oh, yep.
I am absolutely torn here.
Yeah.
Jen, I'll give you first shot.
Just like, when like Janine Garofalo is probably weirdly the first person I think of when I think of that like 90s grunge.
Me too. That's so great.
like yeah, Janine Garofalo and Lisa Loeb. Like that's like playing the soundtrack. So. And I don't know if anyone else watched this movie, and I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it holds up. But I loved The Truth About Cats and Dogs.
Yes.
In the early 90s. It's like a Cyrano de Bergerac story starring Janine Garofalo and Uma Thurman. And I just thought it was, like, the best. And, like, when I was, like, an awkward, like, 12-year-old, and I was like, yes, I could be an awkward 25-year-old like Janine Garofalo, and that's not too bad. She's amazing. So she was who I wanted to be.
You just be
when I didn't have any friends in middle school. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely love her. But Tiffany Haddish, I know I talk about like the books that everyone has written because I like reading books by comedians. Tiffany Haddish's book, Last Black Unicorn, is like read it in one sitting and you're literally laughing out loud, like alone in a room. And you have to like read it and to find out like the title, like how she get like Last Black Unicorn. The story is so hilarious. Why, like, and awkward and yeah. So I mean, Tiffany Haddish is gonna have my vote. 12-year-old me, Janine Garofalo definitely had her vote. But Tiffany Haddish, like, oh my gosh, her book is amazing. And then, the grapefruiting on Girls Trip, like, can't be topped.
Just bursting onto the scene.
Yes.
Bursting.
Yes.
This is a tough one for me, too. I also, like, Tiffany Haddish is just one of those people who has funny in the bones. Like, I just want to hang out with her. You know what I mean? Like, she's just one of those people.
Buy a Groupon and go do something together.
Yep. No, she just seems like one of those people who, like, is very real and relatable. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, she doesn't seem like some of these people, like Julia Louis-Dreyfus is a great example, who's just so, like, sharp and pointed and like I don't know, it feels very like icy, you know what I mean? Where Tiffany Haddish
calculated
feels like somebody who like is the funniest person at your work or something, but like in the best way possible, where you're just like, oh my god, I feel like she's somebody who I've been friends with, and she is an absolute treasure. I love everything she does. Janine
Garofalo, she could be the funniest person at your work.
She probably was too.
In the worst way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
you guys see that Bill died?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She definitely.
Yeah, they've got very different humor styles for sure. With Janine Garofalo more like dark. And Tiffany Haddish is like, let me tell you about this story when I bought a Groupon with Jada Pinkett Smith.
Janine Garofalo, definitely. That was a great call with like the grunge association, because I definitely do. I think of Reality Bites. That's what I thought you were going to say. Because, and it is like, Lisa Loeb, that song was on the Reality Bites soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like so it all kind of ties together.
It is. Uh-huh.
But that was a very like grunge movie. But my favorite Janine Garofalo thing was Wet Hot American Summer, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I just love her in that movie so much. In the scene where she's sitting on the steps and she's talking to the younger girl, trying to get like tips on how to woo the science teacher or whatever, and she says, just like put some mousse in your hair, and Janine Garofalo goes, like, mousse? And she's like, no, like, you know, whatever. And then she's like,
Yeah.
so what should I wear? Like jeans or pants? I don't know. It's just really funny. She's hilarious. Yeah. Love Janine Garofalo, love Tiffany Haddish. I have no idea how I'm gonna vote in this one.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And
All
Daria.
right, Wicker,
too.
what do you think? Yeah.
What?
Oh, Daria, yes. Yep.
I don't know.
You don't
All
know.
I don't know
right.
how I'm gonna go.
Next.
I'm more worried about what's coming up next.
Oh.
Oh yeah, this is a bad one.
This is gonna split families, and yeah, this is tough. We got we already had a tough one last episode, but
Yeah.
I feel like this one's probably even more tough. We have Tina Fey
Yeah.
versus Kristen Wiig.
Yep.
This one to me is like
I didn't overblow the mics there, did I?
no.
Oh.
This one to me is like creator versus performer, sort of.
Yeah.
You know, and
Would you say chameleon?
sure.
What?
Oh, so you're stealing from my copy already.
I think Tina Fey is you know, she's great on 30 Rock. She was great in you know, she's been really good in everything. She's great on Saturday Night Live and Weekend Update. But I think of her as more of like a writer than a performer. Where Kristen Wiig is just like one of the all-time great SNL alum, you know? She is just so like such a singular voice, and she's one of those people who like can create her own character and just like
I mean,
the
how many?
sketch.
Like, you could name a ton of characters that Kristen Wiig has created. You know, you've got the Target lady, Gilly.
Yeah.
But also, like, do you like, is Gilly funny, or is it just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
I can't turn away, but I don't know if I'm enjoying myself. Which is Ryan, you're creeping me out.
Sorry.
Gilly.
Oh, I can't remember their names. The singing duo she did with Fred Armisen.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah, when they are making up the words on the spot.
Cat and Garth. Garth and
Yes,
Cat.
they look like they're having so much fun.
That was so great. They were one of my favorite parts, like in the
Yes.
last 20 years of SNL. That was so funny.
And her on the Californians.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. She was always the best part of the Californians, I thought. And she's also another one, like we've talked about earlier, that is, I think, going to have a really strong career as a dramatic actress. Because Kristen Wiig is as good at drama as she is at comedy.
See, I can't be dishonest. I've been torn on that. It's been
Really? You don't
hit
love
and
her
miss.
as a dramatic actress?
Yeah, it's been hit and miss with me.
Yeah. She's Skeleton Twins.
And I liked that was the hit.
Yeah.
Skeleton
And there's
Twins.
been other ones. There's the one where she's having a breakdown, and there's like a TV show, like a cable access show. I can't remember the name of that one right now.
Yeah. I mean,
Welcome to me. Welcome to me.
Yes,
And that was
there it is.
that was the miss for me. It wasn't bad. Trust me, I'm not
I think
dismissing
she's
it.
great in it. I think she's very, like, she's willing to go to really uncomfortable places in comedy and in drama.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I do look forward to her doing
Yeah. And she's got to be in
and
Wonder
better
Woman
roles.
whenever that comes out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's funny.
She's going to be
thank you.
playing the villain in Wonder Woman.
Oh, wow.
1984. Yep. Yeah.
That's exciting.
So, I mean, she's definitely, like, going to just keep being bigger, and I think, like, 20 years will be like, oh, yeah, remember, she was on SNL. Like,
Yeah.
I forgot that she's so funny, too.
Yep.
But that said, like, I do like Kristen Wiig, but, like, Tina Fey is just my hero. So...
Yeah. 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Unbreakable
Girls,
Kimmy Schmidt.
Mean Girls
yeah.
is...
Mean Girls.
Her
like
books.
the best, like quite obvious, like the best like movie, I think. Like we could argue, but that's one of the best of the like beginning, like the first 10 years of the 2000s is Mean Girls. Like that is a perfect movie. And now I like my son is very into the Mean Girls musical, which Tina Fey also wrote, and her husband wrote all the music. And so we've been listening to that again, and that is brilliant. Like it just, like made that jump amazingly. And Kimmy Schmidt and 30 Rock, like I agree that she's not necessarily the best actress in the group, although like she carried 30 Rock playing a like
did.
fictionalized version of herself perfectly.
Yeah.
So she can definitely like bring the nuance and like be a actual character actress. But also with Weekend Update too, we can't forget that, and that she was the first female head writer of SNL.
Exactly.
So
First you take
I
a
love
hot
Kristen
dog,
Wiig, but
roll it in some cheese sauce, dip it in some cheese sauce. You got cheesy blasters. No, I sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt you, Jen, but like, oh God, like just the like you said the litany of things she has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even just thinking about it now, I'm like, I think I'm probably leaning Tina Fey just because.
Yeah.
I was leading Tina Fey before we had anybody else on this. Like Tina Fey was my first answer.
Yeah.
Like for me personally, yeah.
And you
It
know,
just sucks. Yeah.
I love
Sucks the
Kristen Wiig
matchup.
so much. I wish that she was going up against somebody else.
This is a really hard one. Yep, me too. Me too, because I would definitely vote for Kristen Wiig in a different situation.
And
but...
we have to also mention Bridesmaids too, which was one of like the biggest comedy films, R-rated comedy films of all time.
And she does and that's bringing the like drama to that. It would not have worked as a movie if she didn't act out the meltdown and we didn't all feel it.
Yeah.
That is super true, and like it wouldn't have worked without all that nuance. Like, yeah, I would say Kristen Wiig is the better actress, but when it comes to heroic heroines, like it's Tina Fey.
Yeah, and
but they're both amazing, and we're celebrating both of them.
Yeah,
we're not voting against anybody because I love them both.
And I don't want to talk over Jen. That's not
Sorry.
what I'm trying to do. Because no, I'm gonna mansplain here. My mansplaining is listen to Jen and listen to what she said. No.
Yeah, I like it.
The only I was just we've got so many awesome people here. We're just trying to talk about how awesome all of them are, and it's super tough. So. What are we gonna do, right?
What do you gotta do?
This is Pop Tournaments.
Yep, it is.
We pop.
Yeah.
And we vote.
We do.
All right. Final words? Oh, wait.
Yeah, we've got something else to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Star Wars?
No.
No,
I'm just kidding. I apologize.
I wish.
No, I wish we could talk about
I wish we were just talking
nice
about something fun.
as Star Wars, but we lost another fun one. We lost Alex Trebek this week. And we obviously in a pop culture world, we love game shows and the absolute best of the best. So, and of course we lost Sean Connery the week before. I'm sure there's a hilarious episode of Celebrity Jeopardy going on right now in whatever realm you believe in. But, Alex Trebek, he was fun. You guys, you love the SNL impersonations and how much
Yeah.
he go ahead.
I
I
mean,
don't want to interrupt anybody.
Jeopardy, Alex Trebek and Jeopardy play a very large part in my life. You know, for a long time, Rebecca and I watched Jeopardy like every day. And now we don't have the ability to watch it every day, but we play like a version of Jeopardy every night through our
Through Alexa?
Echo Dot. Yeah, we
Yep.
go play Jeopardy and it'll come on, before we go to bed. That's like our nightly ritual as we play Jeopardy together every night. So I mean, we go to bed with Alex Trebek's voice every night, and not
Nice.
that's not going to stop. But it Jeopardy is like a huge part of our lives, and we're as somebody who's just a huge trivia nut, I have so much respect for him, and this one honestly is like a tough one for me. There's
Yeah.
most of like the celebrity deaths. I'm like, oh, cool. This is a fun time to like look back at their career and like remember some of the stuff they did. This one, even though he's had cancer and like we've seen it coming for a long time.
This was
Yeah.
definitely an unfortunate one because I think, like you said, a lot of us had already looked back into what he meant to the whole genre
Yeah, and for
everything.
so
And
long. Yeah. Like, I mean, I used to watch Jeopardy, and it was like Jeopardy had been on forever when I started watching it.
Yeah.
And that was in like middle school. We've talked. I was an awkward middle schooler with very few friends, but I got to hang out with Alex Trebek every afternoon. I got very good
Yep.
at Jeopardy, and then like always really enjoyed it. And then watched it like when my son was young, when he was in his toddler years. Like we would watch it because I think it plays. I think it was just on regular TV. Maybe I would just put it on Hulu, or no, I DVR'd it. I DVR'd Jeopardy for like years. And so we'd watch the DVR'd version like before I put him down for his nap. So that was like the wind down time. And the Jeopardy music was like his cue to like start getting sleepy. And it was amazing. And Alex Trebek was so wonderful as a host because he, like, you need to seem smart. Like, he needs to seem like he would actually know all of these answers. But he never did that. Like, he never felt like removed or like unapproachable. He always still had that like twinkle in his eye. Even though you think he's probably smarter than you, you still want to like hang out with him. So
He was like a teacher. He was like a great teacher or something.
like a great teacher, not those mean teachers who just like talk, like not the Ben Stiller type, like Ferris Bueller teacher, but the teacher that you love and you still think about years later. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, it is a bummer to lose Mr. Trebek.
Yes.
A
And gone
great
too
Canadian. Also, I don't mean to be corrective, but I've seen so many people being like, "Oh, we lost a great American." I'm like, he was Canadian. He was the sexiest Canadian. I will say that.
Yeah.
He knew when to rock the mustache and when not to.
Yeah, both ways. Silver fox.
He got off just in time. I think if we would have given him a couple more years, he would have been back on board. I did see a meme a couple days ago that was like Sean Connery. It just said like Sean Connery in heaven, and it said Trebek, we meet again.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. I hope Will Ferrell, watch your back.
Yes. Will Ferrell, be safe.
Yeah.
Before we go, hey, does anybody want to make any quick recos? We got like a few minutes left.
Oh.
Anything?
I've been listening to a lot of Parquet Courts. I definitely would recommend them. Great band. And, all of their albums are great, but their newest album is super approachable. It's not like super new. It's a couple years old, but it's called Wide Awake. And it's really fun, and check it out.
And it's great for this time right now where we can hopefully feel a little bit looser and more free and try to celebrate things. I think it's perfect. Great recommendation. Jennifer,
Yeah,
I know
I don't know if we've talked about it, but Steve and I just wrapped up Ted Lasso last night.
Oh, nice.
Yes. No, that's a great recommendation.
Yeah, on Apple TV. If you haven't watched it, it is delightful and soul affirming and a great show to watch if you want something that still has that like gravitas to it, but is just like a good show with like nice people and very funny. And about how, niceness can win. So.
That is a perfect one. And we're just getting started, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it now that
it is great. You'll love it. Yeah, you and Kaylee will love it. It's a good one.
I heard somebody quote Ted Lasso in a great way the other day. They were talking about the start of the election on Tuesday night, and they said, I immediately thought of the Ted Lasso quote, "It's the hope that kills you." And I was like, oh boy, it's perfect. But alas.
Really quick before we leave, I'll suggest, and it's already popular, so it's not really like I'm making a big suggestion, but the Star Wars bad lip reading videos on YouTube. So hilarious. I finally discovered those. I love those. Super, super fun. So, well, I hope everybody enjoyed listening to this really weird episode. We're going to get really into it as this tournament goes on, and it's going to get tougher and tougher. So,
it is,
get ready for some fights. But for the Pop Tournaments podcast, please keep on voting.
Woo!
And keep on popping.
Yeah. Bye, Pop Tarts.
Bye, Pop Tarts.
We're really trying to make Pop Tarts happen.
Yeah. Thank you, Jen. We're making Pop Tarts happen.
So fetch.